Hi there everyone. For once I am not the most casually dressed person on Objectivity because we are joined by Captain Disillusion, who makes YouTube videos deconstructing visual effects. If you haven't seen his videos, you should. They're really great. Captain, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm not normally around so much wood.
I know, it is amazing. How come you are called Captain? Is this an official rank? Is it earned in any way?
Well, you know, sometimes you just want to feel powerful and you just got to give yourself a title. That's pretty much what I've done.
So you're a self-appointed captain?
You're a captain if you believe you're a captain of your own destiny.
Well, that's what he says. What Keith says is you're a captain if you are actually a captain.
That helps, yeah.
And today, for your guest appearance here on Objectivity, we have objects associated with captains. And I believe these captains were, earned their captaincy.
Well, now I'm intimidated. You're also fascinated.
Keith, which captain are we starting with first?
Well, we had hundreds to choose from, of course, because lots of military men, lots of sailors have been fellows of the Royal Society, especially explorers. But we thought we'd start with quite an early one here. This is a manuscript written by Captain Sylas Taylor, and he's an army captain. That's how he got his rank. He's in the Commonwealth Army in the English Civil War. But afterwards he begins to write papers to the Royal Society, and this particular one is on cider making. So this is a set of papers sent to the Royal Society and copied into the register books because they thought some important information was held there.
So there's all sorts of, you can see there's all
kinds
sorts
of things.
Letters, and you never know what the next letter's going to be about. Let's get to the cider making and Captain Sylas Taylor, July 22, 1663.
Wow, amazing.
So here we have Herefordshire affords several sorts of cider apples, and it gives some varieties here. So he's talking about the best way to make cider. I know you're a sucker for an illustration, Brady. There's a picture of your big bucket to make cider in. It says here, let your vessels be very tight and clean.
I love that back in the day anyone would seem to be able to draw this perfect little rendering in ink. It's like that's just a skill you needed to have to communicate, just like good handwriting.
Like we use emojis.
Yes, exactly.
They were able to draw beautiful shaded, hand-drawn, But
it shows you how the process was done. So this is a key part of the process here. The reason of the goodness of this form of vessel is because cider, as all strong liquors after fermentation and working, contract a cream or skin on the top of them, which in this form of vessels is, as it sinks, contracted and fortified by that contraction and will draw fresh to the last drops. So it's the shape of the vessel is the key thing there.
Okay.
I thought a lot about this.
And there are lots of papers in this book about making cider. It's very important for the early Royal Society because this is how you make land productive.
That's one captain down.
All right.
Who's next?
So here we have a little paper, and it's in a volume of voyages. Here we've got two captains, not one but two. And you can see on the front of this little manuscript it says by Edmund Halley.
Edmund Halley, of Halley's Comet fame.
Yep.
Whoa.
And of course he led 3 voyages to the South Atlantic, so he's quite a good captain.
Just to remind people what he looks like, we have here, he was once a young man.
He was, yeah, and this is a really nice portrait. It's by Thomas Murray.
Don't you think there's a little bit of a resemblance? Maybe not.
I'm going to say no.
There's something missing.
My chance at greatness. Can I just draw that on then?
Very good.
That's pretty cool.
There we go. Edmund Halley in his younger days. He's a pretty good looking dude.
He is, yeah.
You could do some modelling on the side these days if he lived today.
Yeah, a bit of part-time modelling,
yeah. He's holding a drawing there, so you can see it's just an illustration.
It looks like a rocket ship.
See it?
A rocket ship.
It was onto something back then.
I thought it was his iPhone, but anyway. What's the Halley letter here, Keith?
Okay, so this is...
Whoa, we're not going to make you read this one. Look at that.
Oh, boy.
I think we should. So this is one captain transcribing an account from another captain. This is Edmund Halley.
Double captainality.
Royal Navy captain. A short relation out of the journal of Captain Abel Janszoon Tasman upon the discovery of the South Terra Incognita.
Do you know Abel Tasman? He discovered what is now Tasmania.
Other people discovered it first, but he's the first European to discover it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That too. Has Halley just taken some writing that Tasman has done about his voyage and copied it?
That's right. He thinks the Royal Society is going to be interesting. This is a valuable voyage, of course. This is way before James Cook and all of those guys. So here's an account of lands in the Southern Oceans, and he thinks the Royal Society is going to be interested in this.
So would that be Halley's handwriting?
Yeah, it is.
There seems to be a style guide for for everyone's writing back then. Like if this is from the same era, the neighboring pages, they seem similar.
If it was a typeface, it would be called illegible.
So February the 6th in the south, and it gives a latitude and longitude there. They were intricated amongst about 18 or 20 islands, which were all encompassed with sands, shoals, banks and rocks, which hands and masked in the carts
and he can't do it.
No.
He's not that great.
It's
Keith,
true.
you're reading superpowers. This is like your gift.
Which islands are marked in the charts by the name of Prince William's Islands and it's like Hemskirk's Shoals.
Wouldn't it have been amazing to have lived at a time when you didn't know what the world map was and it was still like just blank and you were going out there and finding new stuff?
You see at the end there, it's just endorsed Discovery of the South Terra Incognita.
Australia.
It's fascinating. On the brink there. Keith, I'm sure everyone's always amazed by this, but just regarding being able to read all these writings, is it something you've always been able to do or just like developed it over time? Or is this why you're the librarian?
It's a bit of both, I think. So the more you read this kind of stuff, the more familiar the styles get to you. So it kind of becomes second nature.
Making 220 odd objectivity videos is not enough for you to develop the skill. I can vouch for that. 2 captains in one, Tasman and Halley, 2 of my favourite captains.
Yeah.
No offence. So,
More captains. This is probably my favourite captain's letters.
make sure you respond positively to this because Keith loves it.
Yeah.
It's already intriguing. What is it?
This is a captain called Robert Fitzroy. So he's the captain of HMS Beagle. Charles Darwin's
sounds
ship, of
familiar.
course.
The Beagle.
By this stage, he's not just a captain; he's an admiral. So he's been promoted.
Will you ever become Admiral Disillusion?
Again, I could just give the title to myself, can't I?
Yeah.
But now, I no longer think that's okay. Maybe I should go to captain school and earn my rank the way one is supposed to.
So Fitzroy at this time is in charge of the meteorological office. So he's running that. He's one of the people who gets the idea of weather forecasting going. And he's very interested in the weather, as all captains are who sail ships, of course. He's writing to John Hall Gladstone and he says, "Dear Dr. Gladstone," he's in London here, of course, "I wish you had been here this morning. So rich and rare a fog I never was obscured by in the day. It was a glorious colour, red, yellow, and its consistency that of pea soup with scattered mint."
So poetic.
It's beautiful. I can almost imagine it here amongst us now.
Absolutely.
So this is a pea super fog
With mint.
with mint. So this is a little bits of carbon, so floating around within it.
So that's like
it's
hardcore pollution, basically.
It's hardcore pollution, yeah. So it's coal fires and all the rest of it in London. As carbon is so wholesome, he says, I expect to feel all the better for my morning supply.
So he's making a joke that
He's making a joke.
you
now.
can see it, and I'm breathing.
Sarcasm.
Fitzroy is always seen as quite a serious character, you know, in the Beagle voyage and so on. So it's actually quite nice to see him having a bit of fun and making a joke.
Clearly, these days he would just tweet that. But
He would.
back then you had to make do. This is very captainy. I'm very inspired by all these gentlemen.
One more.
Brady likes the next captain. We had to throw this in just to keep him happy, really.
Yeah.
Finally, a picture. Something for me to easily stare at.
Who is it? I'll be amazed if you get this.
I mean, can you give me an area?
Antarctica.
Still nothing.
Keith, let's put us out of our misery. Who are we looking at here?
This is Captain Scott. This is Robert Falcon Scott.
Captain Scott of the Antarctic, who amongst British people is very famous, and I'm fast learning is less so amongst people from the United States.
Yeah.
So Captain Scott.
Or the outer space.
Captain Scott, doomed explorer. He died in Antarctica. A very sad story.
So Scott led the 1901-1904 National Antarctic Expeditions. They went out there to explore, but also to do some science. Here's one of the books that they kept while they were in Antarctica. And this one is specially dedicated to aurorae. You must have seen the aurora australis, because that's what this one will be.
The southern lights.
Yeah.
I have seen the southern lights. Very occasionally you can see them from Adelaide, where I'm from.
And you can see them from space, I believe, too.
Yeah. It's a little easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So here we have a book which has been filled in by lots of different expedition members. So Scott's in here, Ernest Shackleton's in here. Every time they make an observation, they jot it down in the book.
Look at this.
They would just initial it.
Who would have thought you could sketch them like this? It does look like it.
It looks a bit like your thing. Like
It does a bit, upside down. Yeah.
I was inspired
Well, it
by
is the
that.
southern ones, isn't it?
Right. They're doing sketches of but presumably the aurora's moving, so this is just to give a...
Yeah, so this would just give you an impression of what it is you would
Oh,
see.
I love the mountains. Isn't it romantic to think about these people sitting there in Antarctica sketching this in the book?
Yeah.
And you get descriptions of what's going on. So this is temperature 36.8, dead calm.
Was that minus 36.8?
Yeah. Intensity, faint except for a few series at NNE, northeast, where it was greenish and cloudy.
All right, there we go. You happy with this one, Captain?
Totally. This one's like, because of all the illustrations, is the closest to my heart. It's an illustration of what is essentially a visual effect. And that's my jam.
Yeah.
Storyboards, yeah.
Storyboards.
Pretty much what it is.
All right, then. So we've shown you a bounty of captain-made material. Before we finish the video, I'm going to make you choose your favourite captain-related object.
Well, I actually have to go with this. I love this kind of thing. Thank you for showing me all this.
You're
It's really
most welcome.
inspiring
Thank you for coming.
to know what my fellow captains have been up to throughout history. Maybe I'll leave something behind that's worthy of one of these videos.
Students performing coordinated human mosaic moves? Oh, that's a real art form, Hans. But this video has been slightly sped up, making it look way more impressive. You want to know about the double bottle cap flick, Mustafa? Well, the guy who posted it is called 3D Sage. He does 3D modeling, printing, and animation. I think he can manage a couple of CG bottle caps. And look at how they spontaneously appear in front of his fingers.